the next big area that we really need to focus on is commitment. And commitment, if you think about it, it's a lot of focus, right? Where do you focus your attention? And I recently attended a conference where Mo Gaudat, who is previous vice president of Google, he wrote the book Unstressable. So if you haven't read that book, I really encourage you to read it. And what he says is that things that can cause you stress are usually macro or micro. Macro means really big things. If it happens to you, it has a big impact. It can be shocking. And then micro are the little things that keep bothering you all the time. And then you have internal and external. And the way he explained it is you could always be affected by a ton of stress, to make it easy to remember. And what I'll do is a ton of stress. The T stands for trauma. And trauma basically means big negative impact events on your life. Death of someone, an accident, a health scare, those are trauma. And as a child, trauma that happens in your childhood, if you don't learn from it, if you don't resolve it, can last your entire lifetime and affect every single decision that you made. So if you were neglected as a child, in your brain, oh wait, children get neglected. And in some cases, you might either think it's okay, yeah, children can just be neglected, or you can overcompensate. And then you smother your own children because you didn't want them to experience what you experienced, but in the process, you actually make them weaker because they don't get to experience what it means to deal with some level of difficulty in life. So trauma, and also remember, every single human being experiences trauma. The difference is some live in trauma all the time. They just keep living with the bad experience of it. And some learn from it and then apply the lessons in their future. The next area is called obsession. And obsession is when you know what I did? I'm just going to correct this here for a second. Trauma is something that happens outside of you. And obsession is actually internal. You do it to yourself in your own mind, right? So a trauma always happens from the outside, right? As I mentioned, an accident, a death, something that affects you heavily, like if you end up in a war zone and a bomb gets dropped, that's external trauma that can affect you significantly. Obsession is internally. What are you obsessed about? And unfortunately, some people think that other people have time to think about them. So maybe they have a facial feature that they don't like about themselves. And they keep thinking, well, other people are thinking about me, and they're so self-conscious about their own appearance that they're obsessed about it. And then you have makeup and you have all kind of things that people want to fix about themselves, and it could be not just that, it could also be their status. They're constantly obsessed about their status and how they look to other people. And that, in my opinion, is like a negative obsession, because really the amount of energy you put into that, nobody really cares if you think about it. Nobody is waking up and going to bed at night thinking about you and your obsession. You're the only one who actually puts a lot of energy into it. On the inside, you also have what is called noise. Now, noise are the smaller thoughts. Oh, what did this one say just now? And you keep thinking it through. And what happened? What's going to happen tomorrow when I have to do that presentation? And what if the weather is not going to be the way I want it to be? A lot of that is noise, and it just keeps people busy. And then you also have external stress that is small. That is really what we call a nuisance. And a nuisance is people. This is outside of your own head, because noise is what you do to yourself. Nuisance is what other people do to you. This one sending you a WhatsApp, and that one asking you to go do this for them, and the music outside by your neighbor, affecting you, your ability to rest. All of that falls into nuisance. And the goal is to understand the stresses that happen in your life. Where are they coming from? Where exactly are they coming from? And again, what you would want to do with the trauma is get the lessons from the trauma so that you don't keep experiencing the pain. The nuisance you want to eliminate. Right? What can you do to maybe soundproof your house so that no sound from the outside could really bother you? Can you block the people on WhatsApp who really just keep bothering you, or unsubscribe from the things that in your email that just keep filling up your email box and really being a nuisance to you? Noise, I find the easiest way to get rid of the noise in your own head is figure out if it's important. If it's important, document it and then decide what the next step is. If it's not important, then does it really need to live in your head rent-free? The obsession, we want to move away from these negative obsessions, and we want to actually choose an obsession in life. And you might think that, oh, obsession, is that really a good word? People keep asking you as well, what's your passion, right? And, passion fades after a time. What I really want you to think about is what is something that you can channel the energy from here, here, and here into something that is positive and moves you along. And if I have to give an example, for 10 years I've been collecting information to write my book, and this year I decided to make it my obsession to get the book finished because I know the impact that this book will have. I'm also very passionate about creating a learning environment where we can very quickly help people who are intelligent move up in their competence level. We can help people who are obsessed about creating better solutions, have the environment that makes these things happen faster. So that is what I mean when I say an obsession. What is something that will serve you, your family, your community, and maybe the bigger world in a positive way, right? Because that then is, instead of stress, it becomes something called eustress. And eustress is basically positive stress. And positive stress will cause you to grow. Negative stress will cause you to quit. And that is why we need this to be positive stress, so that you can actually end up with the growth that you're looking for. So I trust you're following me to this point. So what we need in the people who can build an excellent Guyana is a high level of competence in the field that they've chosen. And we need people who are actually extremely committed to an obsession that they have, something that they really want to make into a positive solution, something that will impact themselves and others really well.